You were born soft. Not just your skin, but your very mind and soul were shaped to be tender, pliable, a mirror for others' emotions, a sponge to absorb pain that was never yours. From the very beginning, you were taught that empathy is a sacred virtue, a sign of strength, a pathway to connection. But beneath that comforting story lies a brutal truth. Empathy, in its raw and unchecked form, is a weakness, a vulnerability, a chink in the armor of survival. For thousands of years, the greatest warriors, rulers, and survivors knew this well. They understood that to live, to conquer, to endure the chaos of existence, you must learn to delete your empathy, to build psychological armor as impenetrable as iron, forged not in cruelty but in clarity. Empathy, in the way most people experience it today, is an open wound. It pulls you into the suffering of others until you can no longer stand your own mind. It floods your senses with guilt, sorrow, and distraction. It forces you to carry the burdens of a world that thrives on your emotional collapse. The ancients were aware of this trap. They did not dismiss empathy outright, but they understood that untempered empathy is a liability that can be weaponized against you. To survive, to thrive, you must become a fortress, not just in body, but in mind. Look back at the Spartans. These legendary warriors were not born warriors, they were made. From the age of 7, Spartan boys were ripped from the warmth of their mothers and thrust into brutal training camps where weakness was extinguished like a flame. They learned early that empathy was a distraction, a poison. Pain was not a cry for comfort, but a test of will. Hunger was a tool of discipline, not suffering. Compassion for the individual was sacrificed on the altar of the collective. The Spartan mind was molded into a machine of endurance and precision, one that could not afford to crumble under the weight of emotional tides. To delete empathy was to survive. To feel too much was to die. This was not mere cruelty, it was ruthless logic. In the chaos of war, softness meant death. When your brothers fall bleeding beside you, when your city is aflame, the luxury of feeling their pain is a death sentence. The Spartan knew that the path to victory lay in the mind's ability to sever itself from the chaos of empathy, to function like a blade, sharp, focused, deadly. The Stoics, those philosophers of ancient Rome, shared a similar understanding, though expressed in a different language. Epictetus, once a slave, taught that the true fortress is the mind itself. What breaks most men is not the pain they endure, but their identification with that pain. When you say, "This is happening to me," you invite suffering to consume you. The Stoic ideal was not to suppress emotions, but to observe them without surrender. To see emotions like passing weather, to be felt, noted, but never obeyed. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who bore the crushing burdens of empire, loss, and betrayal, taught that pain is only as powerful as the meaning you assign to it. "If you are distressed by anything external," he wrote, "the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This is not coldness, it is mastery." To delete empathy, then, is not to become hollow or monstrous. It is to become precise and sovereign. Empathy, unrefined, is chaos. It clouds judgment, dilutes willpower, and opens the door to manipulation. And the modern world exploits this truth more than ever before. From childhood, you were programmed to feel guilt, to mirror distress, to prioritize others' pain over your own clarity. You were wired to obey emotional cues, to sacrifice self for the illusion of connection, to carry burdens not yours by birthright. This wiring masquerades as virtue, but in reality, it binds you like chains forged in unseen fires. The good news is that you can rewire yourself. You can uninstall this emotional programming and reconstruct your mind into a fortress. This transformation starts with embracing one ruthless truth. Not every feeling is yours to feel. You are not a container for the world's suffering. You are not a canvas for others to project their pain. You are not required to weep because others bleed. The ancient warriors and philosophers knew this well. To be effective, you must be whole. To be strong, you must be selective. To lead, you must feel strategically, not reflexively. Deleting empathy does not happen overnight. It is a continuous process of reconditioning, a daily practice of forging your inner steel. The first step is to learn how to observe without merging. When someone unloads their pain onto you, do not absorb it. Become the detached witness, the calm eye of the storm, not the vessel overflowing with emotion. True compassion is not mimicry. It is deliberate presence, controlled attention. The second step is to ritualize detachment, to train your emotional muscles as warriors train their bodies, through daily repetition, through willful discomfort, through silence and resistance. This is not avoidance, but mastery over your emotional landscape. The third step is to deny unnecessary guilt. Guilt is a leash constructed by others to control you. Much of it is counterfeit, designed to weaken your resolve and bind your will. Question every pang of guilt. Let go only of the guilt that strengthens your integrity and purpose. Fourth, channel empathy's energy instead of collapsing under its weight. Empathy is powerful, but power without direction collapses. Turn pity into precision, pain into action, emotion into deliberate choice. Finally, cultivate emotional sovereignty, the ability to feel only when you choose to, not when you are triggered by external chaos. Offer support and compassion from a position of strength, not panic or overwhelm. This is how kings think, how warriors endure, how creators lead, not by drowning in others' emotions, but by mastering their own. In today's hyper-connected world, unchecked empathy is a liability. It makes you vulnerable to manipulation by social media, political agendas, and personal dramas engineered to keep you distracted and divided. You will be called cold, heartless, and inhuman for resisting. But the question remains, are you free? Or are you a puppet, pulled by every emotional tug that passes through your digital feeds? Are you clear, or are you drowning in feelings that were never yours to carry? Empathy, when wielded as a tool, is beautiful and necessary. But left unguarded, it breaks the strongest minds and shatters the sharpest wills. The ancients knew how to sharpen empathy into a weapon, how to carry it without being carried by it. You are not here to carry the world's pain on your shoulders. You are here to shape the world with clarity and strength. Delete the programming. Build your armor. Lead from a place of calm clarity, not emotional chaos. If this truth unsettles you, good. If it awakens something deep within you, better. The self you were before empathy was installed is still inside, watching, waiting, ready to rise. Hold on to that self, because the world will try to drag it back down, again and again. Do not let it happen. The time to reclaim your mind, your will, your power is now. The journey to psychological armor is not easy. It is a lonely path, walked by the few willing to see the world as it truly is, harsh, unyielding, and indifferent. But those who endure this transformation gain something priceless: sovereignty over their own minds. They become untouchable by the storms of manipulation, immune to the tides of emotional chaos. They become architects of their own fate, builders of empires, mental and real. So what does this armor look like in practice? It looks like a mind that pauses before reacting, that measures its response with cold calculation rather than emotional impulse. It looks like someone who can witness pain without drowning in it, who offers compassion without sacrificing strength. It looks like a heart tempered by experience, not softened by naivety. It looks like freedom, the freedom to choose what to feel, when to feel, and how to feel. In a world drowning in noise and outrage, in manufactured empathy, this armor is the ultimate rebellion. It is the act of reclaiming yourself from the sea of manipulation that surrounds you. It is the silent resistance that does not scream, but endures. It is the ancient wisdom reborn, guiding you to be not a victim of emotion, but its master. Delete your empathy. Build your psychological armor like the ancients. Because in this modern age of emotional exploitation, only the strongest minds will survive, and only the clearest wills will conquer.